Live and direct.
Black Power family, welcome to another episode of Do the Knowledge TV, the place where knowledge is born. We have a distinct opportunity, honor, and privilege to be on live once again, black by popular demand. As we approach the 17th of this month, this historical occasion, we have none other than KT, the Arts Degree, here to give us the Arts
Good.
Degree time here live. So I'm definitely honored to have my brother on. Peace and love to you, brother. Love and light.
Peace, peace, man. Thank you for bringing me on. Thank you for the platform once again, yet again, so I can reach out, touch these people.
Definitely, definitely. I know. Before we get into anything, give the people the event information, the rhyme, the reason, and everything, and then we can proceed on from there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Tell them why we all here today. So on December 17th, which is next Saturday, right around the corner, in New York, Brooklyn, New York to be exact, 1396 Fulton Street in the Restoration Plaza, you'll find a new location of Nicholas Bookstore Brooklyn. And on that day, doors opening at 6, KT the Arts Degree, will be presenting Hollywood Decoded triple feature, Luke Cage, Doctor Strange, and The Arrival. And then in the midst of those three, for the babies, for the youth, and for the adults, for the family, I'm also going to be breaking down Moana a little bit as well. So we're going to be doing all of these films all at this one location. And for those that can't make it there to get your own seat physically, you can reserve your seat at home. That's right, at home with the 1080 HP high definition live stream, no lagging, no pixelating, no buffering, just streaming clean. But you just got to go to eventbrite.com, type in KT the Arts Degree. You'll see the presentation for the triple feature. Just get your ticket, lock it on in. So December 17th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes.
Check them out. You done did a couple of shows, so why don't you talk about a couple of the shows that you've done up to this point? I see you placing a whole lot of spaces, and it
Yeah,
ain't
a lot going on. Well, if I could just do November, well, I'll start at the end of October. In October, I did the Birth of a Nation Decoded, and the reason why I did that is because that was actually requested by Chadwick Boseman because he actually follows my Decodeds. You know, he's linked up with King Simon in the community in regards to the martial arts training. He earned his black belt with them at their dojo. So he actually was like, oh man, you know, it would be dope if he do Birth of a Nation. So King Simon relayed the message to me. So I made that, you know, something that I did personally. But Birth of a Nation I did in Detroit. It was powerful. I featured a graffiti artist by the name of Syntex. You know, anybody out there who knows anything about graffiti recognizes this brother. He's from Detroit, you know, born here, and this is his stomping grounds, and he is a genius. So I gave him an opportunity to rock with me at the event, and he was able to present just his story and what he's been through as an artist in the community. So I did that. Then I did Atlanta. I did the Tree of Life, where I went into the biochemistry that exists in the Bible. A lot of people don't know that the Bible is encoded, and those that know it's encoded, they might not know to what degree. So I went really in detail breaking down all of the genetic and DNA evidence in the book of Genesis, you know, and then I got into Ezekiel's vision and a couple other things, which ties into my Decoded I'm going to be presenting to the people. You know, Red and Blue through their album, their mixtape release, album release of Scorpion King. So, you know, did that. And then I also did a presentation on CMOS in Detroit that was powerful. Did that out there in Grosse Point. I did just the last thing was the Sabi celebration because, you know, the Grand Elder's birthday is November 26th. And my mother, my brothers, and I got together. We got a space at the Harlem State Office Building, and we rocked that out. The people came out. It was a lot of love, so I was able to get that in. And then we just did a Miami venture on the CBI tour, serving everybody's innate intelligence, me, Minister Inky, and introducing Laurie Danielle in regards to just science and polymers and CMOS and spirit and energy and health and wellness. It was just dope. And it was in Miami in a tropical environment. So yeah, it's been a lot going on. That's not even everything. That's like what I'm remembering off the top right now. But just out there, just putting out the work. There's a lot of back and forths. There's a lot of he say, she say. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I just want to make sure that I'm constantly making my contribution, which is going to be science, information, application, solution. So that's why I got this event coming up next week to lighten the load, put a smile on everybody's face so we can have a good time and enjoy ourselves, as we go in and break these movies down. So I look forward to all my arches coming out because I got a large base when it comes to the Decodeds, man. People love breaking the movies down, yo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got my virtual arts degree over there.
You said you got the virtual arts degree? Hello? Uh-oh. Look like you got stuck. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No. Can y'all see me? Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
peace.
go.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Back
they
in full effect.
got that YouTube arts degree just now. You see what I'm saying? So I guess I had to go through that joint in order, to
It's
keep
all
it going.
good.
So uh, yeah, like with the Dakotas and our conversation have progressed over time. My realm of Dakotas is from a realm of African centered psychology. So using uh, as we would use them as an adage, or that the African storyteller to convey the message. So back again, still keeping it culturally significant to the mind. So using these stories as points of reference. Salute to the Black Dot. You see what I'm saying? For starting that.
Hip
Uh,
hop decoded.
Decoded and him being a decoder for the greats, a decoder like I said to you and Black Dot and Red and Blue and Brother Rich and everybody, the metaphysicians were the decoders for our master teachers. So if you didn't get where Dr. Phil Valentine was coming with, you could get A. Rashid, you could get Black Dot, you could get KT the Arts
Oh
degree, you
yeah,
could
it's an
get
option.
you could get Isaiah the Duke of Tez. You could get Aline Bay. You see what I'm saying? You could get the greats. You can get the greatness from the greats. You see what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah.
I'm like X-Men, new generation, new class. You know what I'm saying? Coming in, you
New
know,
Mutants.
new mutants coming in and learning to develop over this last 21-year period of study and dedication to keeping this pure and remembering when it was pure, just like you was alluding to the brother that you brought out from Detroit. I remember the other brother Rich, uh, bigging up and celebrating a graffiti artist who I was just on the show a couple of nights ago with Killer Priest, with talking about his first album, Heavy Mental, and that was the song that was reverberating in the background. While this brother was creating this art that Brother Rich was bringing out to us. So another celebration, and definitely tying into that older, that ancestral way, creating a way for the future generation. And you also alluded to a sister that you're bringing out and allowing to teach in that same platform to show that dualistic unity, which again you so eloquently put that the Luke Cage Dakota series and all the other series in their own way, with that goddess energy, that divine feminine as a grand compliment, and as you put with Moana, with that true theory and going into a lot of that uh, true celebration from that realm, that ancestral realm, so that continued celebration. So I definitely wanted to go back to Luke Cage specifically because it was so many things that I saw that we didn't get an opportunity to really go
Talk
in
about.
because there was just so much going on, and I was just excited to
Oh
be
yeah. Let's
yeah,
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
right. So um, from the research that was done that I've done on the comic, um, why would you think with this series that they would have Harlem? You see what I'm saying? As a focal point.
Oh, well, because of the fact that it's reflecting the whole gentrification process going on. That's why they also had to Get Down as a series on Netflix, just showing how the flip took place, and that now that the flip took place, who really took advantage of the real estate, who really took advantage of the homes, of the properties, things of that nature. So they're showing our presence in regard to being part of the movers and the shakers, but they kind of flipping it on the gangster tip, like we're taking the community out. when really we're trying to isolate the community where it's really about us, you know what I mean, benefiting one another and being able to tag and mark, you know, the other people that have come into our community just to usurp power and energy and funds and resources and things of that nature. That's why you had the red, black, and green so prominent. Him reading the Walter Mosley book, Little Green, you know, in the book in the barbershop.
Right.
Books were a main point in the storyline. You know, him being in the barbershop talking about how we need to read more, you know, and him specifically reading Walter Mosley, him specifically reading, like, you know, for those who don't know who Mr. Mosley is, we talk about Devil in a Blue Dress, you know, as a prime example, which ended up becoming a story that was adapted into a movie where Denzel played in, and even in that film, you know, it was directed by a brother. It was a great film. So Easy Rawlins is the character, and it's a recurring character like James Bond, just to give you an idea. But in this case, he did a story called Little Green, which was specifically out of all things was about entheogens. It was about somebody on an acid trip, and Easy Rollins ended up taking something called Gator's blood, which was really like on some voodoo and some entheogens popping off with the DMT. So he's sitting in the chair reading the Easy Rollins book, you know, on a brother who's down, you know what I mean, in the not the tropics, but in the heat in the South, getting subject to DMT and like an ayahuasca experience, because those are the processes you got to go to in order to get to the diamond body and in order to get to the higher levels of thought, which I transition into when I get into breaking about down Doctor Strange.
Right. And you also made an allusion to doing uh, a lecture in Detroit. And Detroit is the Mecca, and you got Harlem in the film as Mecca. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that's Mecca, and you know that relationship between Mecca and Medina, and the relationship between Harlem and Brooklyn, and the relationship between D Mecca and C Medina, which is Chicago. You know,
Mm-hmm.
with the whole uh, history of preservation. You know, because uh, the mama that was in the film, she was like Bumpy Johnson. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, you know who that was though? Mama Mabel, you know who that was playing that role?
Who was it?
Samuel L. Jackson's wife.
What?
Yeah, that's why she was so bad. That was like a female Sam Jack. You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, and the brother, the brother who played his half brother, what's his name?
Oh yeah, Eric Lee Harvey.
Right, his
Yeah,
name in the film.
Willa Stryker. Yeah,
Striker
Stryker
had like the
Diamondback.
Sam. He had like the Sam Jackson energy too. You see what I'm saying?
Oh
Like
yeah, definitely, definitely. He was a great actor too. Like no one seen him coming. Everybody thought Cottonmouth was going to be the ultimate villain. When Cottonmouth was like, when you playing Mario Brothers, you don't fight King Koopa, you fight Bowser.
right,
You fight Bowser first, then you get the King Koopa. So like they had Cottonmouth there initially, and then you ended up getting into you got into Diamondback after, which are both snakes,
right,
you know, which I talked about in some previous interviews I did, where I'm letting everybody know, like, this is representing a serpent society. Like, even the Judas bullet was made after metals from the incident from the Shatari. So the Shatari were inspired by David Icke, and David Icke's information is by way of Credo Mutua in regards to the quote unquote reptilian agenda. So the
right,
only thing that was able to penetrate Luke Cage was this alien metal, this reptilian metal. You see what I'm saying? Which was able to puncture through his skin. But him being Diamondback and then your boy being Cottonmouth, a viper and a rattlesnake, you know, alluding to the whole reptilian energy.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And his sister, Cottonmouth's sister, like Mariah, was fighting gentrification to keep Harlem black.
That's right.
That was like the whole
That was her whole thing.
right.
And just and like being dirty in the process, but that ain't no different than what we see. Like
Right.
there's no holier than thou political moves taking place. Like everybody's doing dirt, everybody's scandalous. So she was scandalous too. It just so happens that her focus was us, you know, and it got dirty as the time went on. But that's because of the emotional interplay, the psychology, her reliving the fact that she was molested. So her relationship with the male energy was contaminated. It was perverted because as a child, she grew up being taken advantage of. And the minute, as strong and as powerful as Cottonmouth was, all it took was that little reminder
Right.
to bring out the Taka energy out of Black Mariah, because that was the Taka energy from Moana, the straight up volcanic, demonic came up out of her.
That
You
energy.
know, you can't blame her. You know, he tried her. You know, bringing that up. You knew you liked it. You was dressing up for him. That's sadistic. You
Right.
know, I mean, if she was on that, I don't know. They didn't really kind of give that vibe on the show. So that was mainly his interpretation. And for him to interpret that and then say it, you know, that's a psychic attack. That's spiritual assault. That's abuse. So
Both of
she,
their innocence was stolen
oh
at that
yeah,
point. Right. His
he
innocence
flipped
was
out.
stolen. He had to kill the one man who took kindness to him and wanted him to follow his dream, then wanted him mixed up in life and all of that.
Yeah, he was on the music tip, and that was deep. That was hip hop. That represents. See, what people don't understand is a lot of the reasons why the older generation still don't get hip hop and feel it is because of the sacrifice that took place in music back in the 50s and 60s. And a lot of people don't know about this. But John Coltrane was transcendent. You know, he has a church out in California. You know, once he did big steps and started opening up new tones and new chords that didn't exist before,
Mhm.
and then he started getting into even deeper jazz where, you know, when you listen to the names of his songs, they were all cosmic and celestial. You know, he gave birth to Sun Ra because Pharoah Sanders and all of them played with him. So there was a transcending effect that was taking place in music by way of jazz. And the recoil, I mean, the war, the battle that was ensued was to put the drugs, saturate the drugs into the street, because, you know, all of the musicians would get caught up. And then the other thing was remove the music out of the schools. So hip hop became a byproduct of a generation that music was taken from. You know, just like when you talk about slavery and other points in history, Jim Crow, where we were conditioned for a generation or two. So then when that child comes, it's embedded in that child. They don't know nothing about what happened 200 years ago. So you got these youth that don't know nothing about notes and music and reading sheets and all types of stuff. But they can boom, boom, chack, chack, to boom, chack, to boom, boom, chack, chack, to boom, chack, because it's in them. So that came out. So when you're looking at the elders that were coming up in the jazz and being taken to other places through the music, they couldn't understand the change of the beat, that 4-beat, you know, which ties into time standardization, the 4/4 of the railroad, the 44 that my brother's always talking about. There was a change that occurred of frequency in the 18 and 1900s in regards to these numbers that we keep bringing up. And that's what ended up happening in regards to the music. So they can't get with it because they're on another station. You know, just because V103 is playing and 1079 is playing, like, don't mean that just because you listening to one don't mean the other one's not playing. You have to tune into one station or the other unless you got two separate radios playing at the same time. But just because you tune into one don't mean the other one's not on. It's still on, you're just not tuned in. So we have a generation of people that's just not tuned in to hip hop, because hip hop is more, it's not regimented into one area. It's like expansion. It encompasses all. It's like all genres. It's like a summation. It's like, this is your life is what hip hop is. You go on the game show and they like, this is your life. They sum up every genre of music that we've ever been about with the tribal undertone as the constant. You know, you go back home to the motherland, you go down to Mesoamerica, the bass, the 808, you're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that coming out the tribes, you know. So hip hop played a main role in this series. It played its own character because it has to reach the generation that is the aim of all marketing, and that's the youth. And the youth is going to deal specifically with hip hop because they were created from it. Okay, it's 2016 now, so 20 years ago was 1996. Okay, 96. People was getting it in 96. Babies was being born. So all these 20-year-olds, all 25, 18, 23, like these are all the product of Method Man and Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of Marvin Gaye and Tammy, we talking Mary and Method. You see what I'm saying? So it's ingrained in their DNA. It's ingrained in them. It's their rhythm. It's what they feel. They can still connect with jazz and connect with rock and roll and connect with everything else because it's all connected. But hip hop is their language because that's what they were conceived in. That was the vibration. You know, and if I'm going to do a series where I'm bringing a black superhero to the TV screen, I got to make sure that it's relatable to the people that's my target audience.
Right.
You know, so they had to implement Harlem because Harlem is the mecca of the science. Even though you got all these cities where we go in regards to the technology, the YouTube. We talking Sinetta, we talking Brother Rich, and everybody else that's in New York that's transmitting, you know, all these schools of thought out to the world. So they know that. So they used Harlem as that backdrop because of the energy and everything that's going on there, you know. And let's not forget, it's the home of the Apollo. That's the sun. Like, that's the sun god. That's where every sound of music made its way through, one way or another.
And all of our leaders, you know, came
Oh,
from
most definitely.
you see. So yeah. Um and the historic standoff between uh the Moors and the police force. You know what I mean? Like it was hell up in Harlem. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean?
And that's what Luke Cage is all about, is about sovereignty. That's why he got two names. Really three names, because he's Power Man too, but it's Carl Lucas and it's Luke Cage. You know, and the name means free, you know? And the funny thing is, when I get real deep into the breaking down of this movie, I prove how Luke, he's named Luke because he's like one of the four evangelists. Well, if you look at what the four evangelists stand for, you go into Ezekiel's vision, and it's that four-headed beast, the lion, the man, the eagle, the bull. Well, he represents the bull because he's Luke, and Luke is represented by a bull, is represented by Taurus, you see. But more specifically, if you keep going even deeper, you go into the four sons of Heru, and he represents Happy, the baboon, right? But then if you go even further, those four faces from Ezekiel vision, those four sons of Heru, are also represented in the story of the Wizard of Oz, where Dorothy represents the angel, the lion represents Leo, the scarecrow represents the eagle, and then the Tin Man represents the bull. So when you talk in the Tin Man and the Wizard of Oz, anybody who's been following the information understands that the tornado represented the depression.
Right.
The gold standard going into the dollar is what the yellow brick road stood for. Oz is OZ, and that represents ounces. And when you're talking about Tin Man, you're talking about tax identification number. Okay, so it represents the straw man. It represents that other side. You know, Carl Lucas, Luke Cage. One's a free national. One is for business and commerce.
And he alluded to that when they came to get him. He was like, they're not here for Luke Cage. They're
They
here
here for
for
Carl Lucas.
Lucas. Crazy. Crazy.
That's right. Dropped it all. And another thing that went over a lot of people's heads was this was like one of the deepest things in the whole series was the dude that was selling the footage of the incident.
Right.
Because when all was shot to hell, he needed eyes and ears on the street. Now, anybody who's from the community, from the streets, knows that having eyes and ears in the streets is more important than anything.
That's right.
Okay. So if they're going to award one person with this power, then he must be very important.
Right.
So they gave this power to the DVD guy.
Right.
When we all know who's the DVD guy, you know, the Sonettas, the Richard.
Of Harlem, right?
That's who's popping at me. That's who I was in Atlanta, giving out the knowledge, right? More specifically, though, and then it was the incident. So what is the incident? The incident is when the Avengers fought the Shatari in the first Avengers, like that was out in the open. Like people were seeing Leviathans in the sky, big green monsters beating folks up. Like they couldn't hide that. Like everybody saw it. Now, if you're talking about everybody seeing it in our time, people recording it with their phones, they getting the footage, people whipping out their 4K camera, pulling it, and yeah, they're gonna copy and they're gonna make some money. But on a deeper level, what they're saying is the incident represented a new reality, a new consciousness. Everybody was living a certain way until the incident took place, and this dude selling these DVDs is the guy who is able to show people another world that exists. See, just like the brothers selling DVDs out there in the street.
Right. And he was calling them out like, yo, I got the, and that's the part you was talking about at the beginning. And when in our other conversation, and I asked like, yo, he was like, I got the dude with the hammer. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was naming off the significance of the characters, but
That's
he
right.
wasn't like, I got the green dude. And
The green dude, that's a sword. The dude with the hammer, that's Shango. You see what I'm saying? He was just dropping it. But the key was his name, which went over everybody's head. Like, what was the character's name? The eyes and ears name. What did they name him? They named him Dave W. Griffith. In other words, D.W. Griffith, who is the director of Birth of a Nation, who is the director of Intolerance, who is the name of the individual who in the original Luke Cage comic book, when Luke Cage got his powers and Seagame broke out, he found solace in a movie theater called Gym Theaters, and the name of the person who worked at Gym Theaters that gave him a room was named D.W. Griffith. Mm. Now, Hollywood's whole like industry rests on the foundation of D.W. Griffith, because that Ku Klux Klan propaganda tale was how Hollywood was able to find out how to go about making movies, how to turn it into a monster. They was like, oh, we could suggest society, we could suggest things to people. We can cultivate and shape the consciousness of the world by way of the films that we do.
That's right.
You see? And the deep thing is, in Intolerance, they had a story in there about the Gate of Ishtar. Ishtar was the name of Luke Cage's mother. Her name is Ishtar. And Ishtar is just another form of Aset. So the father was obviously Osiris, and he was obviously in between the two women, just like in the Asaurian tale, where Asar was caught between Neptet and Aset. And one night he got drunk, he got intoxicated, and he got it on with Neptet. But Neptet is Set's wife. You see what I'm saying? So he got drunk, he got tore up, and he went and got with Neptet. And out of that union ended up conceiving the child Anpu, Anubis, or the illegitimate son, Batman, right? And this is who Willa Stryker represents. He represents the illegitimate child while he represents the Heru energy. You know what I mean? So it's always consistent, man. You can't have a Heru tale without Heru. He has to be there.
That's right. Got to. And you went over the hero's journey, so the Heru's connection to the protagonist in the films.
Right.
From a literary perspective. So life imitates art, or art imitates life. It translates over, it crosses over from one realm to the nether to the
Oh,
next.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The the pictures, the pictures that they had. He had Biggie,
Yeah.
right? And when she said it was a new order, they brought in two photos. You know,
Oh,
painting. So I got to get some of that KT on the joint. That's why I told you it was so much stuff. I'm telling you, I was writing everything down, and I was like,
the paintings is reserved for the show. Y'all gonna have to wait for the paintings. I'm sorry, I can't get at Jim just yet.
I just want you to know that I'm paying attention. So
Oh yeah, no doubt. But see, that's what I'm talking about the Dakotas. It's like those are the little things. Them little things, those are the things that stand out. It's the little things, like for instance, like with The Arrival, with the movie The Arrival. There's a scene, well, pretty much is not like it's not a scene like something that really stands out. It's something very consistent, but you don't notice it. But when what's her name, Amy Adams and your boy Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, who plays Hawkeye in the Avengers, when they stand in front of the screen talking to the aliens, they got headsets on, but their headsets are not on the same side. My thing is, if we all a unit and we all going up to talk to the aliens and we got headsets on,
right.
Why is your headset on your left and this headset on the right? Everybody headset should be on the same side. It's the same headset issue, right? But for some reason, he had a left headset and she had a right headset. And we all know that the left side deals with the logical and the masculine, and the right side deals with the feminine and the creative. You see? And they showed that without, like, you're not gonna notice it until like I say something, you're gonna go back, you're gonna why? You're like, yeah, they do got on the left and the right. Then you're gonna say, why though? You see what I mean? So you bringing them paintings up, those are exactly the little things that I always touch on, and they become some of the biggest, hugest like dam breakers, because that's what I look for, dam breakers, where it'd be like this little thing in the movie that when you exploit that one little thing, it like pulls out this like stone from the dam and the whole river just come busting through and it just connects everything. It's always something little, and those pictures are serious.
Right.
But when I'm talking about waiting for the show, December 17th,
That's right.
1396 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York. Doors opening at 6 o'clock. IKT, the arts degree, and bringing to you a Hollywood Decoded triple feature of Doctor Strange, Luke Cage, The Arrival, and then little bits of Moana in the mix. Y'all have to come through and get this information. I'm going to be going in. And of course, I'm going to have all of my wonderful products that was passed down to me from the knowledge over all these years so I can help y'all. So it's not just about talking about problems, it's about talking about solutions. I'm gonna have all that. And for those that can't make it physically, go to eventbrite.com and type in KT the Arts Degree. You will see the triple feature flyer and everything, and you get your tickets that way. You know, that way you can see it from the comfort of your home. High definition, no lag, no buffering, crystal clear 1080 HP. But yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about Luke Cage, Doctor Strange, and the Arrival. And right now, we on the Luke Cage thing. People want to expound. I did so much Luke Cage within these past 2 months. It's like people gonna be like, "There ain't nothing else for you to even show," and it's just so funny. Like if I really had an opportunity to break movies down how I want, man, they'd be 8 hours long. Like every movie I do, because it'd be that much stuff. I'd be having to cut stuff and throw things away. But man, yeah, I just can't wait. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah, it's comprehensive. It's definitely comprehensive. You know, just in the space of those few episodes, it's just so much going on, and you see the character development.
Oh
You
yeah,
you got
definitely.
your eye on somebody, and then they get axed. You see what I'm saying? Uh,
Emotionally involved, right?
we could just we could do because I know we running out of time. I'm respectful of your time. If you could speak to the dynamic of Pops, Fish, and Turk being integral, but behind the scenes characters that's like developing and pushing the story to where it is. You see what I'm saying? Because you see his interface uh, with the brother. You know, he called him a flunky. He said, what was the brother's name? He said, such and such would be turning over in his grave. He's like, somebody else just told me that earlier today. You know, that whole relationship and that like that Turk stood out to me because the name Turk was the name that they gave the brother in the spook who sat by the door. You know what I mean? So it was another type of situation, and you see who he was and who he turned out to be. You see what I'm saying? So you get that in Fish and Fisher men, that type of situation when Luke Cage needed to get a hold of Turk, he was like, I got that. Don't worry about that. And the restoration behind the scenes of putting the things back together and him being a hidden hand, but also revealing when the time is right, like saying, hey, outside of me just playing chess here, I was doing X, Y, and Z. So he was another integral part of the story to me. So if you could go in and give me a little bit of that.
Oh yeah, yeah. The dope thing about Turk is this ain't Turk's first rodeo. You know, Turk is on Daredevil anyway. You know what I mean? That's his main joint that he's on. So he kind of just, he's snaking his way through all of the series right now. But just having that term Turk, which is kind of a love-hate relationship because it represents our Moorish history, but then it also represents, a pale-skinned Arab history as well. So it's
Right.
very conflicted, just like the character. On one tip, he's just dirt. You know he's dirt, but then really he kind of represents that necessary chaos. You know what I'm saying? Because he helps, but then he also doesn't help at the same time. So he's kind of like a necessary chaos that occurs. Then you got like you said, Fish, once again, transcending from the Get Down because he represents the father, one of the fathers in the story, to Get Down, that's also on Netflix. So the two of them, playing chess in the barbershop, just representing those two minds. And anytime you're dealing with Fish, you're dealing with Piscean age, you're dealing with a certain type of consciousness. You see what I'm saying? That he represents. And then Pops, like getting confused with his name, thinking his name is Pops because he's the elder, which he is. But how did he get his name? You think he got his name? You think Pops got his name just because he's a father? No, he got his name because he used to handle business because of them hands. And a man is known by them hands, not by this. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
this supposed to follow that. He's supposed to be so seamless. You don't even got to do that. You just do this. So he represented Pops. Frankie Faison is who played Pops is part of a fraternal order, Theta. I forget the whole thing, but their symbol is OX with a serpent on it, which is real deep because when you look at him being the father figure of Luke Cage and Luke Cage representing the bull trampling over the serpent, Pops is from a fraternity whose symbol is ox with a little serpent in the corner. It's like, why? You know what I'm saying? And he deals with he's in some brotherhoods in real life too. Like I seen a couple documentaries where I saw your boy in some regalia. So like Frankie Faison, you know, he's getting it on some other levels. But the
The brother from
female
Comic
presence, the female presence in this story, as I've said before, was so relieving because you had powerful female positions. Okay, they wasn't getting walked over, they wasn't getting disrespected. If somebody did somewhat be condescending or degrading, like no, they wasn't having it. Especially the sister whose father used to be a baseball player, became an alcoholic. She was looking for the ring. Like her courage, she wasn't scared, you know, of nobody. Misty Knight, you know, even though she had that issue where she was seeing blind with a boy with Scarf, you know, but then at the same time you got Luke right in front of your face and you doubting him, you know, that spoke so many volumes in regards to our relationships. However, you know, just the transformation of her character, her growth of her character, and seeing why she was that way, you know, was very, very intricate. You know, they really put in some work, you know. So, you know, the production team behind this story really made sure that our culture was involved in it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they just slapped some jazz and hip hop together and some Air Force Ones and some, you know, and it's like, y'all gonna watch it. No, they really like intricately wove together our essence. You know what I'm saying? And we were responsible for it because we were the music production. You know, we was behind the camera. You know, the same brother that was responsible for writing the screenplay for Notorious. You know, this is why you saw the big Biggie influence, you know, because he represents something beyond just a hip hop artist. You know what I mean? He has a very specific like tone and vibration. And Blue Pill, he goes in great detail talking about the Three Kings. You know, talking about Christopher Wallace in the midst of that. Right.
Abio Doom said when he was in Italy, he said the reason why when I met him in Dallas, he said the reason why he didn't sue Biggie Smalls is because he found out that Biggie Smalls died when he was in Italy with his son, and they were out on a walk, and he said he saw a lot of people gathering around. So he said, you know, they walked up to see what was going on, and he said they had a whole big spread. The entire village came out, and they had flowers. And he went and looked up, and he said it was Biggie on the picture. So, you know, he asked one of the people, he's like, you know, you got him right there. He was like, mafiosa, mafiosa. You see what I'm saying? And he said, nah, he's just a rapper. But then the Italian looked at him and said, but don't he look like Hannibal?
Mm-hmm.
So that whole significance,
So
find that out. You know what I
you
mean? Like,
just broke down a main point that's in that I was going to be revealing in my lecture as a Hannibal tie-in with the whole storyline. And the Hannibal tie-in comes in because the word Lucas, like the meaning of it, comes from a tribe from southern Italy called the Lucani. The Lucani. And the Lucani tribe of southern Italy were part of the faction that rode with Hannibal in the Punic Wars. You see what I'm saying? So his name had everything to do with Hannibal. And if we get, did you get a chance to see The Arrival?
yeah.
Okay, so what was the daughter's name? The baby that she was gonna have. What was her name? Do you remember? It was a palindrome, front and backwards. It's the same thing.
I remember the palindrome. I don't remember.
Hannah.
There we go.
Okay. Now Hannah means gift from God. Okay,
Right.
that's what Hannah means. Now, do you know what word Hannah gave birth to? Hannibal.
There we go.
Hannibal comes from Hannah.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So in Luke Cage, his name is Luke, Lucani tribe rolled with Hannibal in taking Rome down, during those Punic Wars. So that was another point I was going to be bringing up, you know what I'm saying, in the Decoded. But you brought Hannibal up, so I said I might as well talk about it.
Man, so family, I know y'all definitely see the need to have your face in the place live,
Oh
and
yeah, I
also
gotta come through, man. I got some. We're gonna be doing some math. We're gonna be doing some science, some metaphysics, some magic, some health. Man, we're gonna be going in. We're gonna have some experiments. I got a live experiment we're gonna be doing in the building. Like it's gonna be live up in there, man. So everybody been looking forward to coming to a Decoded live. Now y'all got your chance. And even if you can't make it physically, you can go to eventbrite.com and type in KT the Arch Degree and pull them tickets on up so you can see it from the comfort of your own home. But yeah, that's next Saturday, December 17th. Doors opening at 6 o'clock, 1396 Fulton Street, Brooklyn, New York, at the new location of Nicholas Bookstore, Brooklyn.
on my oldest brother's 41st birthday.
Oh man, congrats. Sag is in the building, boy.
Dr. Savi's solar return is my son's 18th birthday.
Ah man, there we go. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna be live. We're gonna be live on Saturday, man. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. We got some powerful, powerful information. Red and Blue definitely gonna be in the building. You know what I mean? And for those of you that want to see like my decoders, if you hear me for the first time, if you go on YouTube, just type in KT the Arch ARCH degree DEGREE. Just type it on in. And I got a lot of videos out. They're going to either deal with health and wellness, me diving deep into physiology like Ant-Man shrinking down, Fantastic Voyage style, or you're going to find me breaking the movies down. I got blog talk shows, and I got a lot of shows on YouTube, everything from After Earth to Avengers to Tarzan, Body Tarzan. I even did Straight Outta Compton.
Another kind. I was just about to see. Look, that's mine. I take mine. I was about to say my favorites. So I was about to get my little second and favorites. You know what I mean? Straight out of Compton. Uh, Concussion was
Oh,
phenomenal.
Concussion was dope.
You know what I mean? Like
Interstellar.
Interstellar was like. I had kind of quit. I quit. I was like, nah, man, I'm not in KT's realm. I could be Alfred. I could be KT's Alfred. You know what I mean? I was like, if KT got some stuff going on,
Alfred, man. Alfred ain't no joke though.
like Kato. I'm gonna be there like Kato, or I'm gonna be there like Alfred. You know what I mean? So
Hey,
like,
let me tell you something. Alfred be getting it in though. But yeah, man, we about to get it in. The Pill family is gonna be in the building. And like I said, if y'all haven't heard, or even if you have heard, or you want to see some more videos, see me break it on down, chop it all up. Like I said, all over YouTube, KT the Arch Degree. You could go on Instagram. I'm KT the Arch Degree. My website, www.ktthearchdegree.com, where you can find Green Life Botanicals, Hollywood Decoded, events, or if you have to email lovegreenlife@gmail, LUVGREENLIFE@gmail.com, and last but not least, Facebook underneath Kamani Tate, Tait. So if you're looking for me, you can find me different ways. But if you want to see me, catch me Saturday, 6 p.m. I'll be there.
and before we get to Saturday, you can hear KT the Arts Degree live on My Skin Is My Sin radio Thursday, December the 15th. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That calling number is 347-855-8692. Again, that's 347-855-8692. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on My Sin My Skin radio with my brother Jobs, my brother Rome over there. It's going to be a phenomenal show. Salute to them, salute to AJ, and salute to our media group, Liberation Minded Media. and all of the conglomerates that are working there with us. KT, I definitely thank you from the bottom of my spirit, brother,
I
for
appreciate you, brother, as always.
coming through, showing us that love. Um, we're gonna be in the building. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm gonna be in them seats. You know, so hopefully we get a chance to meet out there. You know what I mean, and see,
Oh,
what's going on. And
it's a
and
big week.
I'm gonna buy the live stream for somebody. So somebody gonna get the live stream anyway. You see what I'm saying? So don't let the money be the reason. So somebody gonna get a gift. You got the
Hey
live
man,
stream.
listen, y'all got it. It's the holidays. Everybody got money right now.
That's
Come
right.
on
Right. So peace and love to you, love and light to you and your family.
in, no
Salute
doubt.
to the entire Pillar clan and the KT and the Arch Degree clan over
The
there.
archers, all my archers out there.
Arches is out there. So peace, everybody. I thank you for tuning in.
Peace.